Next up, Russ and I talk about the movies that scarred us for life.
I'm scared and I want to go home.
Welcome back to 4K Kings. My name is Matt.
And I am Russ.
And today we are back with a topic that has scarred me for life. We're here to talk about movies that have haunted our dreams since we saw them. Most from the 80s when we were growing up, when my parents didn't know any better and they would just rent whatever they saw in the movie store, put it on for me, and walk out of the room. Of all the things I watched around this time, I watched Silence of the Lambs. They put that on and left the room. But none of these things bothered me for some reason. These movies bothered me.
And I think the reason why is even as a child, you understood the context. The Silence of the Lambs was given to you as a scary film, where the movies I think we're going to talk about, there's a scene here and there or a tone that maybe wasn't conveyed up front.
Let's walk down memory lane. Let's talk about some of these movies that scarred us for life. Let us know what movies scarred you for life down below.
But before we jump in, make sure you're subscribed. The day the 4K Kings hit 20,000 subscribers, James Cameron will finally admit how many actual Avatar fans exist.
One.
Russ, why don't you kick us off?
No.
Because I don't want to start either. The most logical place for me to begin is 1985's The Peanut Butter Solution. This was something that I remembered, and I remembered a feeling, a scene here or there, and it almost felt like I dreamed this thing. When a kid loses all of his hair after getting scared by a ghost, the ghosts come back and help him by giving him a peanut butter solution to grow it back.
This one hit too close to home, man. You knew me as a teenager. I had a receding hairline when I was 16. So while this one scarred you watching it, this one scarred me living it.
He starts wearing a lady's wig to school. He gets picked on instantly. I remember a scene very specifically where he's playing soccer and these kids are bullying him and they grab that wig and they pull it off and it's attached by all this glue. These ghosts come back and he follows the formula or whatever, messes the formula up obviously, and then his hair grows uncontrollably and then he wears it on this gigantic bun on the top of his head. One of his friends catches wind of it, borrows it to put on his dick, and then starts growing pubes that go down his leg and out of his pants while he's in the middle of class.
All right, man. As someone who has never seen this, I was not expecting that left turn.
No.
Then there's this evil art teacher that's at this school who's running a sweatshop where he's making magic paintbrushes out of human hair. He finds this kid who it's okay, gold mine, kidnaps him, and then they start this whole operation where they're making paintbrushes that will help paint some magic portal or some shit. Dude, there is so much weird shit happening in this. I felt so bizarre watching this movie, which is why I'm saying later in life, I'm is that something I really watched? Is this a dream?
I take it back. We did take a left with the pubes, but you won me back over with the evil art teacher running a sweatshop.
Look at this fucking guy wearing a hair suit. Come on. This shit's weird. These are the ghosts. They're hobo ghosts.
Hobo ghosts.
Hobo Ghosts, the
Hobo
movie.
Ghosts.
The cherry on top is that after, finally figuring out what this is, Severin, this was the very first movie that they put out on their kids line. Severin, who puts out a ton of weird B movies, weird horror stuff. And there's actually a documentary about the making of this. And even the filmmakers were like, what were we thinking?
I know that for kids under 8, it might have been a little tough.
It's a really interesting approach to show this kid who's basically dealing with having seen the charred bodies of these homeless couple who is in this house.
I haven't seen it since then. I don't plan on watching it anytime soon until we have to put this video together. Maybe if I went back and rewatched it, I would think differently of it, but as a kid, it wasn't right. So thank you for letting me spill my guts and share a little bit about the Peanut Butter Solution. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that remember this bizarre, strange, surreal, children's dark fantasy films, and I've never forgotten it a day in my life.
Come on, get that out of here.
I'm going to go with one I think a lot of people our age can resonate with, and that is 1989's Pet Sematary. I love the movie. I loved it as a kid. I watched it multiple times, but you know where I'm going with this. There is one character in that film that is beyond terrifying. Rachel's sister, Zelda, a character who suffers from spinal meningitis. I have no idea what spinal meningitis looks like, but holy shit in this movie, the way the camera angle is set up, her voice, everything about it is just beyond creepy.
Get you.
It wasn't a, I'm scared, I need to turn this off, I'm uncomfortable, I don't want to be alone, even just with this movie right now while she's on screen. I've come to learn years later, a man was playing it. And I thought that was brilliant because it's playing a trick on you visually, especially as a child, with the makeup and the distorted body movements, the voice, which again would have been a male voice doing it, all put together in this package made for one of the most uniquely 80s child terrifying experiences I can remember in film.
I was laughing.
Everything else in Pet Sematary is very straightforward. This is horror. Where Zelda, you kind of had to think about it.
I totally agree. And I didn't even think about that because like you said, that movie as a whole, it did not scare me. But when that moment came on, I was very uncomfortable.
The last time you see her, ironically, is the one that scared me the most. Zelda is in a corner and she kind of walks straight up to the camera, talking to the camera. Ah, dude, it's effective as hell.
I agree. And that is a great moment that also, now that you're saying it, scarred me for life as well. I've been re-scarred.
Good.
Now that you painted it so perfectly, much like the magic paintbrushes from the peanut butter solution.
Stop it!
My next entry here is not something that is for kids, but I feel like presented itself as it was for kids because the entire cast are children, and that's Flowers in the Attic. The whole cast is kids. So I'm thinking like, okay, this is for me. And it's not for me. This movie had it all. It had incest, child abuse, kids eating blood, religious zealots, poor children eating rat poison, a scene where a lady on her wedding day gets hung by her own wedding veil.
I'm about to cut this shoot and just go watch it right now.
Outside of all these moments, it's the way the film looks, and I think you could attest to this also. It's got like a soft, strange feeling.
I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Maybe that's something that's just in our generation, but there is something just so haunting about that. I have never seen it. Like you, I was a child in the 80s. I saw maybe 5 or 10 minutes. I remember distinctly, not for me. The title stuck in my head, the look of it stuck in my head, but I didn't even get past 10 minutes, man. It's a book series. That's what I'm thinking. VC Andrews.
The children are product of incest, and then because they're trapped in this attic for so long and they're like coming of age, they start to experiment with each other, or at least they did in the books, I think. I think the books are actually probably much worse.
Oh, yeah?
This was also before I knew anything about movies and had no idea who Louise Fletcher was.
Did you know anything about incest?
Louise Fletcher, who obviously I would later go to see as Nurse Ratched, who plays an incredibly, evil nurse in that film. Like, she plays evil well, and she terrorizes and abuses these children like no one else, and it was horrifying. What do they call this? A psychological horror? But to me, I feel like this movie doesn't have any entertainment value at all. I think it's just nightmare fuel and that's it. Like, there is absolutely nothing that I want to rewatch this movie to be like, yeah, let's put that on.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I agree, man. I think if you're going to tackle incest, it has to be done with some class so you can rewatch it.
It's just one of those movies I haven't seen since, and I think about it all the time. Flowers in the Attic, 1987, another movie that's haunted me for my entire life.
Go check it out. One movie that scarred me. You are a big fan of this film, Matt, particularly the actress in it, and that is Howard the Duck. Now, when I watched Howard the Duck as a child, I must have been about 6 years old. The whole movie, it's weird, but it pretty much worked up until Jeffrey Jones goes psycho demonic at the end. That man is in a totally different movie by the end of that. The last 20 minutes of Howard the Duck are scary as fuck.
It's effective.
And even when I watch it to this day, when his skin starts boiling up and that stupid voice he does, I'm still uncomfortable.
You know the scene when they're in the truck and his tongue comes out?
Yes. Everybody talks about the Large Marge scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That truck scene with Jeffrey Jones is nightmare fuel.
I had to look away from the Large Marge scene.
But again, it's a looking away thing and it's a gag. Jeffrey Jones in this character throughout the whole movie is an ally. And then by the end of it, he literally turns into Satan. I was 6 years old, right? I was up watching Howard the Duck. It must have been like 4 a.m. and those parts came on, and I still remember that to this day, dude. I'm just a kid stuck here. Any kid stuck with Jeffrey Jones is in for a world of pain, you know?
Any questions?
Yeah. Where are my pants?
I thought you were actually going to say what scarred you for life was Leah Thompson bringing Howard the Duck into her bed.
Nah, I think we all wanted to be Howard.
I definitely wanted to be the duck.
What?
I'm gonna need you to just go on a quick ride with me here on my next one, because this is gonna be something that I don't know who knows about this, who's ever seen this in their life. Maybe there's gonna be one person out there that's seen this, which is why it's gonna be very deep into the video. But if you're along for the ride up till now, hang in there just a little bit longer. This is another one just like the peanut butter solution that I thought was a dream. I thought I had just made this up in my head until one day I was able to search it up, and sure enough, it exists, it was real, and that's 1985's The Hugga Bunch Movie.
What?
We've been watching you through the mirror for a long time.
This is a 1985 like children's toy, and then they had a spin-off movie basically to promote it. This was a VHS that you could rent at the grocery store.
Wow, if you're a certain age, that meant so much.
In order to save her dying grandmother, a young girl travels to Hugga Land through a magic mirror in order to steal young berries from an evil witch. This is what the goddamn Hugga Bunch characters look like. In the movie, they put clothes on these little bastards, but in real life, like when you were to buy them, they were naked. They just had a diaper on, and that's it.
I'm telling you, he knows it all.
This is what the movie looked like. It's very soft looking. It's like after school TV special kind of style. This poor girl with this awful haircut and some of the worst acting of all time.
Excuse me, Your Majesty.
Come to find out, this was one of the most expensive television movies at that time, at one point like $4 million. And it even won like an Emmy for like best effects or something. Essentially, this girl finds out that her grandmother is dying. And again, like this is a big message for a little child that's watching this. And she wants to save her because grandmom gives the best hugs.
Everybody needs hugging.
And that's what these dolls are all about, giving hugs. You hug them. They're the Hugga Bunch.
The Hugga Bunch lives in Hugga Land. We hug all the live long day.
And here's this witch who, you know, looks dangerously close to copyright infringement. And this is her tree filled with berries who this little girl eventually kills at the end because the witch has to keep eating these berries to stay young. And there's like this giant jar over top that slowly comes down and the witch like gets caught trying to get in and she like her hand gets trapped and she turns old again and it's terrible. But this little girl runs back home with a jar full of berries to give to grandma.
Well, that's not very friendly.
When I went to research this, there were many threads where people said the same thing that I said. Like, I can't believe this is a movie. I thought this was a fever dream. I thought I made this all up. And then there's people like, no, I remember this shit. My sister rented this like every day. I had to watch this for years straight. She loved it. People know this shit's creepy. They know what it is. Like, these dolls are so strange and bizarre. They have no real features. They're just like a blank slate with a mouth and eyeballs. Dude, I probably watched this movie 100 times still. I'm not even gonna lie. I said, what the hell was wrong with us all? It's all we had. I had one VHS and just put it on repeat. God damn, this movie freaked me out. F this movie. Russ, what do you got next?
The next choice that I selected for this segment is when the humans turn into pigs in Willow.
Yes.
Oh my God, Ron Howard, why? And I'm not even gonna hide under, oh, it scared me as a child. It scares me today.
Me too.
I honestly think this is such an effective horror sequence. Dude, there are shots where like Val Kilmer just pops his head up into the frame with a snout and all that. These are literal jump scares, man. As I always said in all my choices, it's a tonal shift from everything that came before it. But it's done so well. It just belongs in a horror film. Am I wrong?
He did that so perfectly. Like this should be like a pig-human hybrid horror movie.
They're in such torment. They're in such pain. They're writhing around and screaming.
Dude, that's screaming. The pig squealing.
Yes, dude, this is torture. We're watching torture. I guarantee you that scene alone is why I am not that big of a fan of that movie. That hit me so hard. I remember it. It was visceral.
That's a potent scene.
Yes, yes. Even if you love the film, you gotta admit, oh, Ron Howard was on some shit that day. Dude, American Werewolf in London isn't that scary in that part. I watched that as a kid and I was fine. It was Willow that got me.
Great job. Great one. That's a good
Thanks,
one.
Matt.
That's a good one. Hey, that's a good one.
Hey.
Hey, Hugga Bunch Part 2.
What do you got?
I got one more that I think about often, and it's just one of those movies where it's like, what were they thinking? Like, it's almost one that I think they thought this was going to be one movie, and it turned out to be something completely different, and that's Radio Flyer. Richard Donner's Radio Flyer. Did you ever see Radio Flyer?
I have not, Matt.
You haven't seen any of mine.
Because I knew what to avoid. I was smart.
Yeah, that's right.
When a young boy is subjected to physical abuse at the hands of their brutal stepfather, his older brother decides to convert their wagon, the Radio Flyer, into a plane to fly him away to safety.
I could tell from the trailers at 10 that there was an odd tone to this movie. And I don't know what it is, but I could tell.
Much like Flowers in the Attic, this movie starred 2 children. So it's like, oh, this is for me. This is for me to watch. And I think that's what they were trying to promote it as. This is for families. It's a fantasy film is what they even refer to it as, because there's a lot of escapism, because it's a movie about 2 kids and one who is facing rampant child abuse. Like the entire movie, this kid is getting brutalized. It stars Lorraine Bracco. She's the mom of the 2 kids. She's like a divorcee, falls in love with some new guy who turns out to be a like really mean ass alcoholic. And then he just starts to really focus his attention on the younger brother, Elijah Wood's a little bit older. And this poor kid gets the shit kicked out of him. And what's even more terrifying about it is they never give this guy a name. They refer to him as the King. His face is never on screen.
Everything's gonna be okay.
The first scene where they're alone together with him, it's like fishing. They're having a good time, and the guy's like cracking a beer, then he cracks another one, and they just focus on how many beers this guy's cracking, and you're like, okay, what's gonna happen here? And all of a sudden, the one little kid does something with the fishing pole, and he gets like walloped. But it just gets more and more severe from there, where like when this guy gets really drunk, he just finds this kid and beats the hell out of him.
I guess that makes sense.
There's a literal scene where both of these kids come up with some like formula. They read in a book. It's supposed to like ward away evil things or spirits or whatever. And they're like concocting it in this big pot in the kitchen while the parents are gone. And it explodes. Like it doesn't go well. It blows up all over the kitchen. After that happens, there's like this tense feeling of will they or will they not get this cleaned up in time? Or this kid's going to get the shit kicked out of him again. That's what you're hanging on the edge of your seat on. Will this kid or will he not get abused?
Oh.
Tom Hanks is in the beginning of this movie. He plays the older brother who tells his story about his childhood. At the very end of this movie, I don't give a shit if this is a spoiler, they convert this Radio Flyer into what looks like the shoddiest piece of shit airplane you could ever imagine 2 kids could put together. They go to this cliff and they're like, this is where you're gonna take off. They go up to the very top of this cliff and they just start pushing this kid down the cliff. And it's a moment where you're like, what the hell's gonna happen here? Either this kid's gonna plummet to his death, or he's literally gonna fly. Meanwhile, the dad's onto them. He's like trying to stop them. He's gonna come and kick this kid's ass one more time, I guess, just for good measure. And what the movie does is a total cop-out where they see him go off the cliff, but you don't see what happens. And then they cut back to Tom Hanks, and he's like, well, at least that's the way I remember it. So they like really try to give you like an out, like he's like an unreliable narrator. Like who knows if this story's real or what really happened?
Who finds this entertaining?
It's not.
Who wants a fantasy escape? They need a literal escape from their abuse. Someone come in and save these kids. Why are you making this whimsical?
The Radio Flyer, I've never forgotten it. It's horrible. I can't believe that was made. I can't believe they would even pitch this to families. Not for me, not for anyone out there. Radio Flyer, 2 thumbs down.
Thank you.
For my last selection on this topic, I went with the very first horror movie I ever saw. The terrifying, groundbreaking horror film House 2 from 1987. House 2 is comedy more than horror. Nothing scary in this movie whatsoever. There might be a cool jump scare when Gramps' arm comes up, but that's not even what I'm talking about. But it was the end, immediately from when he started rising up out of that table. And it's funny, when you watch the scene today, it's lit well. It doesn't look half as terrifying as it did on a tube television in the 80s. It was very dark. You couldn't really make out the makeup on Slim's face. I laugh when I watch it today thinking, dude, how was I terrified by this? How did this affect me of all things? But that memory of first seeing it and the feelings I felt, I get it every time I watch the movie, minus the actual fear. It's like the ultimate form of nostalgia. I can return to that moment in my life at any time. And I'd even argue it probably sparked my love of the horror genre. Probably the cheesiest one out of all the examples I gave. I'm sure everyone watching might not agree with me, but it holds a special place in my heart. And we're not even going to talk about the little caterpillar dog. I mean, whoa, that, as we keep repeating, that is nightmare fuel.
And then there's Amy Yazbek, who scarred you in a different way. Some other ones I just remember briefly. Large Marge, I definitely looked away from that. The trash lady from Labyrinth definitely freaked me the fuck out.
That was going to be my honorable mention.
Swamp of Sadness, Never Ending Story.
For a good 2 years of my life, I closed my eyes in the beginning of Total Recall when his eyes were popping out.
So if you have any others like that made you feel uncomfortable, let us know down below. Come back, check some other videos out that we've done. We live stream every other week. Thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time.
If you made it this far and you're unsubscribed, you clearly like us. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button. The day Matt and I hit 20K subscribers, Edward Norton will be allowed back into the MCU.
What?